standard for green buildings. So even today, as we talk about a green building, there is no government document that defines a green building. And if you don't have that, then it's hard to even get incentives for green buildings. So that's what we're working with KEBS on as a task force, is to come up with the definition of green buildings. And as the second thing on incentives is, as I told you, we're working with Laikipia and Homa Bay County. So we have something we call green building guidelines at KGBS, where we go to the counties and we develop guidelines for green buildings. And part of that is to come up with incentives. And I told you one of the incentives is faster building approval process, which is a non-monetary incentive, but it's an incentive, right? And part of how we could get the new building code is through such incentives. So if you comply, then you get an incentive. So that's a faster way of, getting this to the grassroots or to the ground as you go out. So those are some of the programs. I think the other program we have is Edge Clinics. For any developer that's here, it's a free program. If you have a development that you're doing, it's in the design phase or new construction, we're able to, for free, assess that development and tell you where it lies. So how far off is it from green? So the IFC Edge definition of green is 20% reduction in energy, water, and materials. So if you have, anyone that's doing a house, a single family dwelling, we'll be able to take that for you, and we'll be able to assess it for you and tell you, this is where you lie, this is what you can do to actually get to 20%. And if you want to certify, this is the cost of certification. But the first step is to help you assess that, and this is free, so any architect that's in the building or any developer or future homeowner, we are very open to helping you unlock the this access to green construction.
Great. I think we'll just take one more question in the interest of time. I see a hand that shot up on this side. But this is great that we have so many questions. Hopefully you can talk to the panelists in the break right after. We now have a new screen, and then we'll go into the presentations.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the panel. And good morning, everyone. My name is Edith Alusa from Ecotourism Kenya. I'm the team lead there currently. I feel like I've walked through a portal. I'm embarrassed that I'm a Kenyan and I have not known some of the things that the panelists are saying. And I think it's because in the whole theory of change, we are sort of, our mindset is we have to import, I was changing out my toilets in the house, and somebody told me you can import them from Uganda. And I thought, wow, okay, Uganda is making toilets. Is Kenya making I don't even know if Kenya is making toilets. I mean, this is ridiculous. But I think made in Kenya, I'm rabid about that. Provide all the service providers with an opportunity to tap into the tourism sector. Because I keep getting asked, and I mentioned this to the KGBS team, I keep being asked, how can we build our hotels and lodges in a more sustainable way? And I tell them stuff. I don't know if the buildings fall down. I'm not even an architect. I don't know what's happening. And I'm the one advising them. And I should not be the one advising them. So is now partner with KGBS and just see how that will go forward. But we also want to partner with KAM because if we're going to retrofit, because a lot of the products that we have in tourism in the coastal region are really old. We have a lot of old buildings and everything. So how do we retrofit? What are the solutions that we can work with in that sort of angle of things? And then can we make it as public and widespread as possible? And the second thing I'll say is that what you touched on about policy is absolutely critical. So we're working with Tourism Regulatory Authority, who is mandated by law to develop green, sustainable regulations and guidelines for the tourism sector. So now working with them to give incentives and probably a few disincentives, but mainly incentives, so we can have green buildings in the tourism sector that can then be certified by KGBS or whoever, because we run a certification program as well, but it is for the hotel facilities that have already been built. But we would like to be able to say, if your building materials have been certified by KGBS, then we just, we tick that box without even thinking. And that kind of partnership, I think, will be so pivotal to changing our tourism sector. So I am just so grateful that you're doing this, and we intend to publicize whatever you're doing to the nth degree. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Since there was no question there, thank you so much for your remarks. I will take one more question from this side of the room.
Yeah, thank you, the moderator and the panelists. My name is Ngushie Gadogo. I work for Steam Plant Limited. And I have two questions. The first question is that currently we have the Kenya National Cooling Plan, which is almost in the final stage. And from what we have in the Jenga Green Library, we don't have anything about passive cooling, which addresses the bottom of the pyramid, those people who are in formal settlements, in fact, schools, because I don't know which schools you went to, but the one that I went to, when it was in the afternoon, most of us were on the other side. And the teacher would just speak to himself or herself, but many of us were dozing off because of the heat. And as the chairman of the Kenya Green Builders has said, if you have the iron sheets, surely that place is very uncomfortable. And many of these people cannot be able to afford to invest in air conditioning. And we have proven technology that can be able to assist. How do we connect? My question is, how do we connect Jenga Green Library, passive cooling materials, with the Kenya National Cooling Plan that is almost in the final stage, so that we have synergy with what we are trying to do with the green materials and what as a nation we are focusing to do for the nation in the future. And the other question is, how do we, as Jenga Green Library, pass this information? We are talking about having the media. Do you have the media today here?
Yes, they're actually back there. Maybe the media can wave. If you're from the media house, yes, we do have them. We do have KBC, we have Nation Media, we have CCTN, as I mentioned, and I have not met the lady, but we do have media today.
Great, because that's the way to go. Unless we make a deliberate effort to sensitize and make everybody aware what is available and how it can be able to help not only the people at the top, but the common man. Because if we don't address those people who are not able financially to invest on expensive equipment, then we have lost it. Because those are the majority. In Kenya today, around 15% have air conditions. And in fact, if we say, don't raise your hands. If you ask how many of us here have got air conditioning in their homes, you'll be surprised. Maybe they will just come that 15%. So we really need to look for materials. As we look for the green buildings, also let us look for materials that will make them more affordable and sustainable, where people can be able to invest and be able to live in comfortable homes.
So picking up on that, you have the category. So what I'm hearing is a suggestion to add passive cooling as a category on the Green Library. And go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that the question you asked about, how to get passive cooling, or maybe steam plant has technology that's about passive cooling, that falls under indoor environmental quality. And again, as I mentioned at the beginning of my welcome remarks, is that the directory is open for all. We are very happy to partner with anyone. I think there's a few people that have approached me on EPD and life cycle analysis of products. We are very open. The library is not, we don't want it to be a KGBS library. We want all the professionals to feel that they have a way to input, so that we can have one directory that everybody feels is a part of. Of course, we want to avoid greenwashing as much as possible. So, we need to be, to have a methodology that's strict, and we're planning to do version 2, and we've already sent out material to AAK, we've sent out to KEBS, and any member of the public or anyone who's here, if you feel that there is some input, of course the first thing is to download the app or go to the website, sign up, use it, give us feedback. Either as an end user, give us feedback that you probably didn't find anything useful on the app, or you think that this is a gap that the app has not solved. Please reach out to us. We're very open to hearing and integrating that feedback.
Great. I have one last question who has asked me very nicely.
There's one more response.
Yeah. Oh, great. Sorry.
Sorry, I wanted just to say a quick thing about the indoor air quality and, space. There are other ways that are totally inexpensive of achieving, say, air circulation within buildings, which is going to achieve the cooling effects. Things like cross ventilation, design aspects, where you sight your windows, things like that. So those are quick wins that can be implemented immediately. I guess just, the architects need to find a way of communicating this. So they are there because we are blessed with very good weather. The other thing I wanted to note is within the building code is that the building code actually allows the use of appropriate technologies because now it is approaching materials through performance rather than specification. So it actually allows, and the way to get these products out there, just accept them in the mind, utilize them, even from the middle income housing schemes. Let's start there. When we scale, then the investment will follow, because we have to achieve scale to have substantial investment.
Good afternoon, it's almost. I represent my colleagues. We are a construction company. We have architects, project managers, and QS. So our question would be more regarding the approvals of the green construction, especially the structural. We tend to find a problem when we have engaged our clients, and the architects have done their part, and they've suggested the green construction, but you cannot get an approval from even the county level, and mostly NCA, yes, they do, but you cannot put aside the county engineers. They basically say we don't have a code for that to approve it. So most of the projects that we are undertaking, we have engineers on board, but then when you provide that structural drawing for approval, they don't approve it. So how do we go about it, or what is being done to address that? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that question. And I mean, you've talked about it from a structural perspective. We do have, for example, Zima Homes that's building using cross-laminated timber, and you can imagine how hard it is. But even aside from even structural, if you go to the counties, you find if your building doesn't show where the septic is, they won't approve it. So you might be doing recycling, but then they say, where's the septic? Right? So you can, and we understood that gap, and that's why I mentioned what we're doing with the counties. I mean, we have 47 counties. Of course, we need more partnerships to achieve all 47, but we've started with Laikipia, Nakuru, and Homa Bay. So if you go to those counties now, you won't get the same resistance that you'd get. We're also working with the State Department of Housing, for example, with Zimmer Homes, in order for them to get their approval, which they have. But I think the key thing here is that, building and code enforcement is actually a devolved function. So if you look at the National Building Code, it's actually a guideline. So the counties are supposed to then take it to their parliament and approve it. And that's why as KGBS we said, then in that case we need to focus on the counties, because if you get a very green code at the national level and then you come to the counties and you can't enforce because they still have the archaic guidelines where the guy is just looking for a septic. I mean, it doesn't make sense. So we would like feedback on such counties, but we are working with Laikipia County, Homa Bay and Nakuru. We've already finished the guidelines for Nakuru County as well as Homa Bay, and Laikipia should also be done at the end of this month. And part of that is to incentivize, number one, but also to create a guideline for the county that addresses such materials. And I think for your case, because you're a stakeholder in that sector, it's to look at what we are doing, what our guidelines are, because they're free. We don't hide that information. And then you give your feedback and say, we've had this gap and we think that this is the best way to address it. I mean, you probably attempted to address it in this chapter, but we think that this could be done better. So again, KGBS, we are a non-profit, we're a membership-based society, so please be a member so that you can get a chance to know what programs we're doing. Our secretariat is here. I think Wangari will give you an idea of that, but our membership process is all online. You're able to just do it from your phone, and I would encourage the rest of the public, because we know most of you may not be members of KGBS, and we would love to partner with you to unlock this industry.
Great. I think I'll end it there, Cecilia, if you'll allow me. Thank you, guys. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. We have some gifts for you. Rachel, please come help me so we can give you the gifts as you come off stage. But thank you so much. That was a fantastic panel. Great. So as we change the screen over, we now have a screen. I'm feeling a bit generous. We don't only have gifts for the panelists, but we also have some gifts for people who have the correct answers. So you guys downloaded the app, right? Before? Who has the app downloaded? You can lift your phone. Yeah? Okay. So I have four gifts to give away to the first person who gets any of these answers right. Right? So you can open the app, and everyone can open the app. If you haven't downloaded it, please go to the iOS store or the Android store, and you can type Jenga Green Library. Are you ready for the first question? Are you ready? I hope you guys haven't had a sneak peek. Are you ready? These are my gifts. I'll take one by one, yeah? So the first one is, for the precast concrete louvre blocks, what is the embodied energy? The first person who gets it gets a gift from KGBS. It's on there, all on the app, easy to search. So the question is, for the precast concrete louvre box, oh, there's a hand already. What is the embodied energy? We already have a hand up, so we'll see if he has it right. Wait, yeah, the mic is coming to you. And this just shows how easy it is to use, how easy it is to search on the app, how easy it is to get information on the app. So if he gets it right, let's see. Please introduce yourself and then tell me the answer.
My name is Nixon. I work for BSF East Africa, Performance Materials. It's 907.
Yes, that's correct. Well done. Can we clap for him, guys? Awesome. Fantastic. So that's one prize gone. We have 3 more to go. The second question is for the recycled plastic roofing tiles. What is it made out of? For the recycled plastic roofing tiles, what is it made out of? There was already a hand up here, white shirt. Francis. And for a bonus, you can tell me how much it is per square meter.
My name is Ian Jeremy. It is made out of recycled plastic, and it is 1,500 per square meter.
Fantastic. Thank you. Let's clap for him, guys. Thank you. Second prize. My third question is for the Shell electronic wash basin tap. Shell electronic wash basin tap. What is the flow volume maximum? We already have an answer here. See, the ladies are coming in.
My name is Grace Kimotho. It's 5 liters.
5 liters per minute. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Guys, we have the last question. I feel like this one is too easy. Maybe I should find a harder one. For the recycled plastic fencing posts, how much percentage of recycling plastics is in it? I won't repeat it. Oh, there's already an answer at the back. Over there. For the recycled plastic fencing post, how much recycled plastic is in it?
Hi, my name is Lorraine. It has 100% recycled plastic.
Fantastic. Thank you. A round of applause for her. Thank you guys for participating. But now we can see how easy it is to use the app. You guys have gotten the hang of it. If you haven't yet downloaded it, please go to the App Store or the Android Store and download it, and you'll be able to access all the information. I think we're almost ready with the screen. I would like to ask our next speaker, and Francis, please, to come up. And then we'll have the first of 3 presentations. Thank you.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tamara Cook, and I am the CEO of FSD Kenya, one of the hosts of this event and the sponsor for the launch of this. The launch will happen next, I think, after my brief remarks. And can we all hope that green building will be adopted more quickly than it is to change a screen at this event? I think you're only going to get part of what I'm showing, but allow me to just go ahead and give my remarks. I am speaking on behalf of our senior affordable housing specialist, Sita Shah, who would have liked to have been here but was unable to join. She would have done much better at this presentation than I will, so please bear with me. Before I go into affordable housing, because I know we're in a housing and building environment, let me just talk a little bit about financial sector deepening Kenya. We work in the financial sector, and I love what the panelist earlier said from ABSA, Jane. The financial sector is here at the table. And that's what we would like to hear at FSD Kenya. We've been around since actually 2001, when we were first born inside the British High Commission, and then we were spun out into a multi-donor funded charitable trust here in Kenya in 2005. And we have been working alongside the financial sector to improve the financial sector, include more people, and more importantly, help the financial sector actually deliver value to Kenyans and the Kenyan economy. At the heart of our strategy is women and women's economic empowerment, and I think we've been hearing a lot about that already today, and affordable housing is clearly an important part of that. We are funded by the Swedish government, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and UK Aid, and our affordable housing finance work is funded by UK Aid, and I'm pleased to announce that we have just received an MOU from the UK Aid on an additional 3 years of funding for affordable housing and for green, both very important topics for today. This is not a great presentation, so maybe just look at me. I don't know, we'll see. Why housing? Why does housing matter? It matters because housing is an asset for people, and it's also a national asset. As a social asset for people, as a financial asset, and as an economic asset. And then as we think about Kenya and the national asset that affordable housing is, it works on economic growth and job creation, sustainable human settlements, and financial intermediation. Affordable housing hits at least 14 of the Sustainable Development Goals. I'm tempted to just take this off. Somebody tell me what to do. It's okay. All right. At FSD Kenya, we're focused on 4 key submarkets in the affordable housing sector, and I'm not going to go into great detail here because you guys all know this. But we've got incremental, which is largely rural and peri-urban, informal settlements, small landlords, and formal. And it's important to just think about affordable housing is not just one thing, green housing is not just one thing. I'm gonna skip this slide. I'm just gonna go straight here. Kenya needs $45 to $90 billion over the next 20 years to make affordable housing work, to get the housing that we need to all Kenyans. And obviously green is a really big part of that solution and potentially can drive the cost down so that we can be closer to that needing 45 billion versus 90 billion. There was great conversation among the panel about what is affordable, what about the rising cost of materials, what is this gonna mean? We think that the financing the housing sector needs 4 things: patient blended financial products, deep regulatory support, and we heard a lot about that, thinking about the building codes, for example, mechanisms for local currency capital, and market development and investment support. At FSD Kenya, we have divided our affordable housing finance program into 3 components.
The first is building an enabling ecosystem. The second is creating financial products for both rental and owner occupation. And the third is promoting climate smart green housing. Although I should say that green goes throughout all of this. Some of you may be familiar with the housing market assessment that we did as part of the FSD network. FSD Kenya is obviously focused on Kenya, but we're part of an Africa-wide network called the Financial Sector Deepening Network, including FSD Africa and FSD Africa Investments, who you may be familiar with. And what we did is we looked across what is required for market transformation in the housing sector. And we looked at financial sector development, housing sector development, the investment capital in the local market, and how these interact with each other and how the investment that's needed in all four of these circles and the learning that is needed is really critical. I just want to give you a flavor of a couple things that we are doing in each of those four subsegments I talked about and the ecosystem. For example, with incremental building, we're working with Kenya Women Finance Trust and their Nyumba Smart program to integrate their already existing housing finance program with an iBuild, a technology solution to enable not only incremental housing, but also things like clean cooking to be able to be done in a more effective way. In urban settlements, we have been working with a partner in Mukuru to do a sanitation revolving fund for community-based sanitation. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. In the small landlord segment, some of those on the panel and some of those who are in this room, we've been working to look at understanding the demand and supply and not focusing only on owner-occupied housing, but also that small landlord is really important. Formal is the smallest segment, and yet the one that often gets the most attention. And one thing we've done there is working with the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company to do a study on the potential of a partial credit guarantee. ABSA talked about how the rates are lower for that, but still we have a challenge with getting those mortgages out. There's not yet a lot happening there, a lot of opportunity. Finally, on the ecosystem, we think this is critical, and events like today are an important part of that. Events like this, launching this library are really important because to get the ecosystem worked, we've all got to be sharing our information with each other so that we can all learn together and achieve together. That word open access, those words open access are at the very bottom because this is a big principle of how FSD Kenya is approaching the affordable housing space to really think about how can we learn together, share together for everybody's benefit, because this problem is too big to solve all by yourself. I mentioned the electronic land information management system on the previous page when I was talking about the ecosystem. This is just an example, a snapshot from the system that we've been working with the county in Makueni to develop. And we all know the importance of clear and transparent land titling, and how that can help unlock financing for housing. I mentioned Mukuru, and this map here is a map of the 5,690 households in the area that was being targeted. And what you can see is in red are all the units without a toilet. The green ones do have a toilet, and the yellow are public toilets. You know, we're talking about the importance of low flush toilets, but when you're talking about a unit that's got 4 toilets in it versus, 30 households sharing 1 toilet, we need to make sure that we're localizing what does it mean to be green and have a low flush environment when you've got a poor flush environment. In Mukuru, again, the same kind of mapping to better understand the needs. 92% of households there rent. So again, that rental is important, not just owner-occupied. And 80% pay less than $2,800 in rent per month. So that's far lower than the affordable housing numbers we were hearing from the panel. And so we just need to make sure that we're grounded in the reality of how people are paying for housing and what they need to improve that housing in green ways. is around human waste disposal across Kenya. And what you can see is that pit latrines are by far the most common toilet used in Kenya. And so as we think again about these low flush toilets, we need to be grounded in the reality of where we are and where we want to go and how important that is. And so stay tuned. We're going to be digging more into that data and sharing more data around affordable housing and the implications for that. So with that, I'm looking forward to the launch, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Would you like to take any questions? Does anybody have any questions?
I'm happy to.
Yeah, oh, sorry. Any questions at all? No? Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Great, so we have the next presentation from MAPEI.
Let me try this way. It works? Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here to talk with you. I would like for sure to say thank you to Mr. Ted Otieno for giving us the chance to talk today to you and to ensure you that we are committed to support all your program. I'm also happy to have my speech right after the panel discussion because I think that maybe I'm going to answer a few of the questions I heard during the discussion. Just a few words about MAPEI. MAPEI is a huge group. Since 85 years, has been established in 1937 in Italy. We have 89 subsidiaries. I'm talking today for MAPEI East Africa, with the headquarters not far from here, and a warehouse with every product in stock in Tattoo City. So we are always available and proud to support you. We are contributing all over the world in many projects, rather is a new building, old building, commercial, and so on. But you can easily understand that since we have this power and this number of plants, we are also committed to do something for the environment. I mean, it's our call as manufacturer, as you said, to take care of the planet, but to take care also of the indoor environment, okay, of our well-being. MAPEI every year has the sustainability report. Now you see 2020 because in 2021 this presentation has been made. In 2022 we will present the 2021 and so on. We have our path. This slide is similar to the ones I just seen before, where we have some objective, let's say some target that we want to achieve in terms of product quality and safety, or innovation in research and development, and strictly following the LCA, which is the life cycle assessment of the product. Of course, we have many certifications, ISO certification, with quality management, environmental management, and occupational health and safety. We heard already about the importance of the building and the environment problem. Yes, it is true. I heard from Mr. Ted that building talking about sustainability, unfortunately, they have an impact for sure higher than the transportation. And this is fun because I remember when I was living in Italy that all of a sudden they used to block the traffic of the cars. Today you cannot go in the center of the town because the pollution is too high. But nobody cared about the building. And when we talk about the building, we are not talking only about a fully functional building, but for us, start from scratch. So in the design phase, during the production of the product, the supplies of raw material, the durability we are going to talk about, because what we are facing today is this. This is a glacier in Italy, and top left is a picture taken in 2008, and the bottom right is a picture in 2018. This is how the air pollution, the CO2 emission, and the global warming is affecting our future and the future of our son. Of course, would be a dream to live in a house like this. I mean, it's fully natural, for sure, local raw material, but what about this? I mean, when we talk about construction today, we have also to talk about durability. Affordable houses, I already said this in a previous conference. We talk about affordable houses, but just think about one. If the people can afford an affordable house, can they afford a renovation of the same house in the short time? No, they can't. That's why we have to work on quality of the product to ensure durability. I remember my grandmother used to say, if you spend more in the beginning, you spend less during the time, and this is the truth. And stop saying that green building is a niche. Oh my God, they're talking about green building would be so expensive. It's not true. You will see that as material manufacturer, we start working on it in the 80s. And we can give you the right system for the right needs. We work for sure on recycled material. I'm happy there are recycling company here. And we work, of course, on the CO2 compensation to reduce the impact on the environment, and for the indoor problems, the low volatile organic compound emission product or product without solvent. So, talking about sustainability for the planet first, what MAPEI strictly follows is the life cycle assessment of the, for sure, is a problem. We've seen also the glacier picture before. And global warming, we can do our part, and we are actually doing our part. In which way? We can reduce the emission, first of all, working on the product, understanding what is the right raw material, and then to understand how the production can have a lower impact as we can. And then, of course, the supply chain. What is amazing about the result we achieved with this research, that everybody thinks that the transport of the raw material has the highest impact on the environment. Actually, it's not true. It's the raw material itself, the highest, which is the yellow slice of the cake. This is the impact of raw material on the global warming potential, and the blue side is the transport of the same raw material. Then inside the yellow raw material cake, the impact of the inorganic binders compared to the organic binders. So we have absolutely clear all the picture of our product from the raw material collections. You remember, in Italy they call that eternal. After a few years and 100,000 people died by cancer, they realized that was not eternal. They had to remove immediately. And create the wastage of that product was very dangerous. They needed special teams, and do we know where is gone now that product? No, we don't. Probably is causing pollution to the ground somewhere in the world, probably. So, in different cement, we can use different polymers and different packaging also. Because we can talk about upcycling, which is the reuse of the same thing as it is, like these two pictures that you can see, nice chair made with tires or nice shelter made with bottles, or we can do recycling, which means using that product, destroying it, and use the raw material created by that. What we actually will be able to do, this is just a small example among the thousands of products that we have, analyzing the impact in terms of CO2 emission of one bag of one adhesive X from any company. The normal adhesive is like, funny, like 6 hamburger production, or like 50 kilo, is to verify also using third-party test laboratory, because it's too easy to say I'm green because I put the green material field, but also in the furniture. I remember when I was a kid, 100 years ago, that when my parents bought the new furniture for my bedroom, I was so happy, but I couldn't breathe for 1 month there because they were using this adhesive for the furniture, now forbidden on the market, which are very dangerous and cancer impact in terms of concentration versus time that some raw material or solvent can have. I mean, everybody is scared about the solvent, very volatile organic compound, but as you can see, the peak is very high in the beginning, lower in the beginning, but they go longer over the time. And this is the time we live in the house. So it's not always true that, let me say, natural means safe. It depends on the products and on the application. In MAPEI, we have emission test chamber. Of course, everything then has to be verified by our product. It's too easy to say I have this product and the emission of this product in my bag is X VOC, because that product sooner or later will be applied. So what we have to know is the applied product emission, not the product once it's coming out of the factory, right? And this is exactly what we are doing. This is the applied product graph in terms of time in days, the emission at the first day, third day, 10 days, and 28 days. This is mentioned in 28 days probably because it was a cement-based product, where after 28 days the curing should be done. But then what we analyze is if this product is keep emitting during the life inside our houses. And this is exactly what I was saying before. One thing is the in-can amount, and the other thing is the emission of the applied product. Because, you know, when I am manufacturing a single component product, which is sand, aggregates, cement, and polymer, and then I will add water, the product reacts. So the emission is completely different. So it's too easy to say my product has this emission gram per liter. No, the interesting emission is the microgram per cubic meter, because this is the air that we breathe. Of course, there are different labels. Some of them are voluntary labels. Some other are mandatory labels for manufacturer in green building. Same as the different green building protocols that we are working with and we are contributing with our production. Green building products are different in many countries. One of the most famous has been mentioned just this morning is a LEED. Of course, a LEED is not a certification for the product, but is a contribution that MAPEI product can give in terms of points to reach whether it is a gold, silver, or platinum LEED project. It's interesting that in this country there is a Green Star, I think, because just here nearby there is a Green Star building, and Green Stars follows the same criteria of LEED, which are basically the location and transportation, sustainability of the site, water efficiency, which is very important, energy and atmosphere, material and resources, indoor environment quality, innovation, and regional priority. As a chemical manufacturer, we can give our support on the sustainable side for sure, on material and resources, and indoor and environmental quality. Everything is there on our documentation. This is in terms of recycled raw material, so you can ask anytime our support, or can download our technical data sheet, or you can ask to our team in MAPEI East Africa. Same thing for the indoor air quality. Again, VOC content in gram per liter, but also VOC emission in microgram per cubic meter with different labels. Fortunately, also here in Africa, this is a LEED project in Zambia. In East Africa, there are LEED projects. And talking about Green Star, frankly speaking, I didn't know. I discovered just last week that this building that we can see from the terrace outside is a Green Star building built here in Nairobi, which basically follows the same criteria of LEED. For any support and any, let's say, information or training you might need in green building, on product application, on impact of our product, you can contact anytime our team in MAPEI East Africa, but also you can take a note on sustainability@mapei.it. You can call them or send them an email anytime to have information on the updated formulation that happening on daily basis from the MAPEI laboratory. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. We really appreciate it.
Most welcome.
Does anyone have any questions? Yep, there's one there.
Sorry. One there, where?
Thank you. Thank you for a very wonderful presentation.
You're most welcome.
My name is Adams Namai from the Kenya Building Research Center under the State Department for Public Works. I have one question for you, and I want to relate it to a problem that has been ailing Kenya for quite some time on the materials that are declared not suitable. A good example is the asbestos, which has been a problem. Now, I don't know, throughout your strategies, what strategy you have in the event that some of your materials are not suitable. What strategies have you put in place to withdraw those materials from the market, ensure that the production and the usage is not applied anymore?
Actually, for MAPEI, this started a long time ago, which means that we tried to reformulate all the product in order to avoid any dangerous material into the formulation. What is important is that just in case something happens, it's very difficult because the quality control we have in our plant is very strict. We are going to check every single truck coming, analyzing first in our lab the raw material. If it's not compliant, we send the truck back, because also for us, you can understand that taking out from the market thousands or millions of bags of product because it's dangerous is, I mean, cost-wise, is worse for us than have a good check before. I mean, in my memory, in MAPEI, this never happened, fortunately. I mean, in Europe, they started quite before to make some product forbidden to be used on the market. For sure, what is dangerous in the construction chemicals is the use of the very dangerous wastage. I mean, there are some companies, there have been some companies, I cannot tell you the name, of course, that since the very dangerous wastage was cheaper, because the company, they didn't know where to put it because it's dangerous. So, you know, it's a very problem. They say, okay, come on, I sell you this for a few dollars and you can use it, do whatever you want. And this happened, for sure. Not in MAPEI, but we witness that something happened with some other company. With MAPEI, this will never happen because can be some product that then without, for instance, the EC1, very low volatile organic compound emission, can be. But if it's not certified, you don't find the label on the TDS. If you find the label, like some of the product we are showing there, for sure this is in compliance with that regulation.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. I think without much further ado, I'll invite Rachel onto the stage. We want to officially launch the app, and then we can head off to lunch.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rachel Mudeu, the Jenga Green Library Secretariat Project Lead and a project manager at KGBS. So over the past few months, KGBS, in partnership with FSD Kenya, has been working on the program called the Green Building Materials and Services Directory, which we've also dubbed the Jenga Green Library. And seeing that we are all gathered here for its launch, I'd say it has been a great success. So thank you so much for being here. I will start my presentation by giving a brief background on who KGBS is and what the program is about. And yeah, so the Kenya Green Building Society, we have been introduced to KGBS, but being here, as the MC was calling us, Wangari, the partners of KGBS. So we are a non-profit, member-based organization that has been mandated to lead the sustainability of the construction industry in Kenya. So we are a member of the World Green Building Council, that has become the world's strongest local, regional, global action network for the built environment. And our mission is to educate, certify, and advocate for sustainability within the built environment. So I feel like moving around, so I feel like I should also use this. Yeah, I have. Okay. So what is the Jenga Green Library? So the Jenga Green Library is designed to encourage the use of sustainable materials within our buildings. So it aims at promoting climate action and sustainability within the built environment because, yes, a lot of our energy is renewable. So when we look at what we're using in our homes, that's 90% of that is renewable. But then we look at the embodied energy of our materials, and we still are at a downfall when we look at that. And as well as when we look at the entire built environment, which accounts for 40% of annual greenhouse gas emissions worldwide, and Kenya is not excluded because we are also a developing country that's making big emissions. So what is this product and how is it going to be functioning and why are we launching it today? So the Jenga Green Library is hosted on our website. That is you can see that, and I'm so glad to be making this presentation when we have been interacting with it fully during the morning presentations and during the day rather. It is also available as a free Android and iPhone application. It's also going to be a free digital object that is being used by everyone. So the objectives of the directory. One is to provide a single source of reviewed green building. Like, we've had questions in the audience being asked, like, who is making products in Kenya that are green? People may not know that, but as evident with our exhibitors today, there are products that are making this big leaps in sustainability, yeah? So we need to have a one-stop shop, a single reviewed service or a directory for this to happen. Democracy in what products are being hosted, yeah? Then it's also linking developers and pretty much everyone who needs to do a building to these products that we keep on talking about, yeah? And then it also is going to be able, we are going to be able to, so when you go there, you'll find prices. So those prices are inclusive of VAT. So we need to also be able to understand what taxation goes to materials so that if we are going to be starting the advocacy for tax incentives, we have somewhere to get started on. And finally, to understand pricing of this green building materials. So there are 10 featured sustainable development goals within the directory, and I will not go through them, but yes, this is a very inclusive directory. And so we need to look and see the team that is behind this great work. So we are going to do a big shout out to the team, and ideally, I would like to also thank everyone who was involved in the program one way or another. This is the first version of the program, and like our chairperson, KGBS chairperson said, we will be developing a version 2 and further bigger, much more developed versions. So to start with, this is the version 1. So to everyone who has been involved in this, big shout out and thank you. And I say first version because for it to transcend the test of time, we are going to need to be updating it regularly, and with the help of you and everyone who's been working on it, we are going to make it a big success. So we'll start off with the special mentions, the KGBS Secretariat. I will not go to the names, but thank you very much. We have the KGBS board, very proud sponsors of the program. KGBS chapter, the Materials Directory Program team, all the reviewers, because this work has been graduate, and the software developers, we thank you a lot. So it takes a team to make the dream work, and we have definitely seen this, so we definitely want to appreciate your time and success. So another special mention that hasn't been highlighted is directory, and the call to action ideally is to make it a bigger and better directory. And in the words of Sita Shah, who's currently not present but well represented by the FSD Kenya CEO, The goal of the directory is to become everyone's directory, so let us all make use of being it a formidable platform. Thank you.
A round of applause for the Jenga Green Library. Can we all please stand up? This is a very exciting time. Congratulations, KGBS, and congratulations, team. This is fantastic to see. For those who can't see, we're just showing how to use the product and how to use the Green Library.
With some of the certificates. I'll also like to call on stage our chairperson, Ted, and one of our premium members, Jane, to help with certificate presentation. And then we'll have the photo op, and that's it for this session. So, I'll just pull up on screen some of the specs about the projects that we are awarding. Just bring. So, yeah. Best. So the first certificate goes to AAR Healthcare Holdings Limited, and the project, which is the Creel Hospital, managed to achieve 29% in energy savings, 29% in water savings, and 33% in less embodied energy savings. I'd like to call on data. Apologies for that. We are running a bit late with the program, so we understand. If you leave early, so we'll go on to executive residency by Best Western Nairobi, and they managed to achieve 35% in energy savings, 32% in water savings, and 33% in less embodied energy. So some of the energy measures that, yeah, welcome on stage. Some of the energy measures that they managed to do is natural ventilation, efficient water fixtures in the building, efficient energy fixtures in the building. Yeah, so, and they had low flow shower heads, low flow faucets in the building. And next up, we have the Trade and Development Bank Tower, which also managed to achieve 21% in energy savings. And we had 36% in water savings and 33% in low embodied energy in materials. I'd like to call on stage the representative from TDB to receive the certificate. Next up, we have the Cube. The Cube managed 41% in energy savings And actually, they achieved the EDGE Advanced certificate, which exemplifies achievement in the following areas, and that's 41% in energy savings, which is actually very, very, very good, and 50% in water savings, and they had 21% in less embodied energy in materials. I'd like to call a representative from the Cube to come and receive their certificates. Welcome. Special thanks to the EDGE auditor or expert. There you go. Ah, nice. Yeah, we have. Okay, let me check. Do we have landmark? Landmark suits. It's not yet. Okay, we'll. Just to mention, they also have another development called Landmark Suits, which is also an EDGE certified development. So another round of applause for that. Next up, we have Purple Tower. Purple Tower achieved 27% energy savings, 41% water savings, and 33% less embodied energy in materials. I'd like to call a representative to come and receive the award on behalf of Purple Tower. Okay, just one photo. Let me change this. So if you just received your award, after the event, we'll have a photo op at the photo booth, which is next to the entrance, next to the exit. And we'll just have a short, quick photo op and send you the pictures later. Next, we have, no, we did this. There's no representative here. Next, we have Karen Greens. Karen Greens achieved 40% in energy savings. Come back. 49% in water savings and 37% less embodied energy in materials. I think this is a good opportunity to call you back up on stage. Company name? What's the company name? Yeah. So you can clearly see that you're setting the pace. Continue. Next, we have Signature Healthcare Warehouse. Signature Healthcare Warehouse, which managed to achieve 49% energy savings, 34% water savings, and 32% less embodied energy in materials. Let's give a quick clap for Signature Healthcare Limited. Net zero. Oh yeah, and just to mention, they are very keen on going for net zero certification as well. So that deserves another round of applause. So last but not least, we'd like to recognize one of the first African signatories to the World Green Building Council Advancing Net Zero Commitment. And this goes out to Africa Logistics Properties. They have loads of certified projects. They have ALP North, where they have ALP West. And they are the first signatories in Africa to the World Green Building Council Advancing Net Zero Commitment. Congratulations, ALP. Yes, so thank you. Thank you very much. Wangari, over to you.
Thank you, Francis. Can we please give another round of applause to all the winners? Congratulations. You guys are really setting the pace and leading green building in Kenya, and we're really proud to see that here today. So as you can see, we have live green buildings in Kenya. This is not just a concept. These are people who are really, really walking the walk and talking the talk. Thank you all so much. I have promised you lunch for very many minutes now, and I can finally say we can go for lunch. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you for taking time to be here with us today. And we look forward to the next launch of version 2 of the Jenga Green Library. But until then, please continue to use it. Please continue to give us feedback. And we look forward to seeing those who are participating in the AGM back in this space at 2 p.m. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.